at
Showtime.
Horror Research 30.
I feel hood.
But I would be back for episode 550.
Oh, awesome.
Now, Trevor, can you
Yes.
please tell us how to pronounce this title the correct way?
Okay, so Jin-Roh, the Wolf Brigade. It's actually a play on a term Jin-Roh, which means werewolf. So Jin-Roh or Jin-Roh.
And this
Closest.
is why we call him Uncle T, Professor T, aka our foreign correspondents, because of stuff like this. And it's not just Asian. He does it with Spanish. He does it with everything. So we're good. Chris, you got to step up with the Spanish stuff.
Yo no quiero.
Hey, Taco Bell.
Así es la vida.
C'est la vie.
No, seriously though, like I love what Trevor brings to the show, and I know everybody that watches loves what he brings to the show. And I love what everybody brings to the show that comes on here, because we all bring different, unique things. It's interesting.
Well, thank you for continually having me. It means a great deal. So thank you,
man. As long as you want to be here, you could be here.
Yeah, nobody else is coming.
Yeah,
I bring the.
We love you here, man.
It's just us. It's just us, guys.
But we're back again for another animated horror over here on Horror Research 30, and I'm really loving this run. This one I didn't enjoy as much as I did the last couple of movies. It felt a little slower, and when I was looking at animated horror movies, this was put under like horror. I was thinking of more of a horror film. Not that the stuff that wasn't going on in this movie was horrific, but it was more of a thriller than like a horror, like scary type of film. And again, scary as in horror film, scary, not scary as in real life situation type of shit. It's different, people. It's different. If that's the case, everything's scary. But really quick, I do want to say, I'm going to dive right into my early rating. I'm going to give this one a 5 as of right now. But of course that can change. But let's go around the horn with our ratings, if you do have them right now, if you want to go last or whatever. But Trevor, do you have your rating right now, good sir?
9.5. And why I say that is, I've seen Perfect Blue is a good example, but this was a film. This was not just an anime. This was a film.
Agreed. And how about you, Worst Damn?
I'm gonna go with like 6.
All right.
And that's because of some of the reason he just said, because it was really good with how it framed a lot of shots and different things with the details in the animation, and it really felt like an actual movie, like put together. But I have my qualms.
Jin-Roh.
I'm going with a 6, and there's the negative for it is it was too political for me in a way. So it felt slow. And also I did like how they're basically using the story of Red Riding Hood, but the wolf wins.
Yeah.
But does the wolf win? You don't really know.
He cried at the end, but he chose to
cried at the end. I mean, this the use of there's actually a lot of fairy tale in this film. But Little Red Riding Hood is the one that is used the most in a completely allegorical setting. But also, I mean, Japan in itself, but also the characters, it's also a study in PTSD, but also a study in, this is a film that when it started, I thought it was going to move in the direction of the resistance, of the, partisans style. And it quickly, it kept going somewhat that way, but it quickly changed to it actually separating itself completely. And you're right, James, it is exceedingly political because it's looking at, okay, so Hiroshima, Nagasaki, massive trauma, end of story. You have the occupation. Where this picks up is after the occupation in alternative history. So it does make reference to the facts that once the occupation was over, Japan could not have an army. Japan couldn't have certain things. So in this alternate history, they learned a way to get around things and have the Capitol Police. And the Capitol Police became more of a group that would go out and, you know, oppress protesters and stuff based on the fact that they got the okay from local police. Now, this is about this rumored concept of a Wolf Brigade. And the Wolf Brigade is actually those people who want to make sure that their special interests are not destroyed by the existing political authoritarian group. The next step would be a military coup, in my opinion. And I think that's kind of where the film ends for the politics. It's like nobody is good. No, this movie, one of the things I loved was how the protagonist, who at the beginning shoots a teenage girl who is a terrorist. When I use the term terrorist, I mean that in like the National Republican Army kind of way, is she is willing to set off a bomb for the ideology of the movement. And for a second, he doesn't shoot. And that's humanity. And then you're like, this movie is all about humanity, especially when he becomes involved with what he believes is the sister of the young girl he shot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to the very end of this movie, it's the wolf is constantly biting itself in this wheel. And it even mentions about how canines at times can actually just go through and kill their cubs and such because of how they want power. And this showed how like deep underground the military had this to make sure that their interests are above everybody. And that is where the movie is tragic, because you see him there, he kills her, and humanity is lost in that universe. So, sorry to babble, but that's why it's a 9.5 for me.
Right. What's up, Chris?
What's good, Chris?
No, and it does a great job of actually conveying that story and actually hitting the points and strides. But like James said, it was just a little bit too slow for me. You know what I mean? It's if it would have been a little bit more involving with how dramatic it was with that buildup and with how delayed it was with the meat and potatoes of the film, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Because the few action sequences and the shooting scenes and obviously them showing like holes get blown into people and people get blown up and stuff, but that was detailed as hell and that was super dope. The story behind it, the premise and all that, like you said, all these little callbacks to certain mythos and stuff like that and fairy tales, that's awesome, you know, to try to show and warn people based on, you know, events that happened where society could go and stuff like that. So I think stuff like that is always needed. But again, it's just sometimes the long drawn out process, man, it kills the point you're trying to make if it's too much of a detachment in the person's attention while they're watching it.
So I feel like with this film, I do feel like it was a good film, it was a good movie overall, but it just wasn't what I was kind of looking for, I guess. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. Just again, I was thinking more of like a horror type of film. And I do feel some positives about it, though. I like the take on it, where it's an alternate universe or alternate story where Nazi Germany wins World War II, takes over Japan, and then, you know, things happen the way that's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Just telling the story.
It was
With
intriguing that they used World War II rifle or shotgun starting mid film, and he kills her with a World War II gun. So that, sorry to interrupt, but that does have a lot of meaning starting.
No, you're good. You're good. I was coughing, so I'm glad you picked up right there.
Cool.
It was perfect. It was perfect. But
I also like what Trevor said earlier. It did not feel like, I watch a lot of anime. This felt more live action movie than anime.
There's a reason for that
to me.
Yeah. And I'm with you too, James, with the whole politics thing. Not really my thing, and I think maybe a big reason just because of what's going on now. That's just like, I don't want to see politics in my entertainment right now. Not that it's bad. Not saying that, but just like right now, I kind of want to steer away from that bullshit. But that was probably my biggest gripe with it, and just the horror. Like I said, the horror aspect, and that's why it's a 5 for me.
Well, the thing that's interesting about this film is exactly that. Is like, why was it an anime? There's no reason for this to be an animated film, and I'll explain why it is and why it was. But all the shots and everything could be done completely live action.
Trevor,
and
I just want to just really quick before you tell us why. Can we guess before you tell us?
That's fine.
I think it'd be fun to guess. And for me, really,
guess what?
Guess why? Because he's saying they should have made it live action, but there's a reason why they made it animated. So before he tells us why they made it animated, I'm like, I want to guess. If you guys want to throw in a guess too, feel free. If you're in the chat, you want to guess something, feel free. Don't be shy in the chat, by the way, people. Say what's up. Say hi. Join the conversation. It's fun. So for me, I'll say just because, for me personally, it makes it an easier watch. Watching this type of film, it's an easier watch. It's more comfortable. It's more enjoyable in a sense because you can still kind of separate from it with the fact of not seeing real faces, with the fact of seeing the animated faces. So it doesn't hit as hard as it could. It hits hard though, but it doesn't hit as hard as it could if you're seeing an actual human. In my opinion, I feel like that's why they did it, but I could be wrong. But do you guys have any guesses? Or
I think it's going to be something deeper than we're thinking. Trevor's going to have some fucking behind the scenes directors taking a shit together, and they discussed it, shit like that. But I think it was animated. It maybe the tone of it, like make it grittier, darker. I don't know.
If I had to guess, it's literally just to kind of deliver the message and kind of because it's a new time, right? This was the 80s. This is like 40 years after Hiroshima and all that stuff, but there's still lessons to be learned and warnings to be had from some of the events and stuff like that. So if it's meant to be a warning or hey, here's what could have happened or here's what we wanted to happen type deal, then obviously during the time when anime's booming and starting to grow, you got so many more eyes on it. How do you get more people on the program? You shove it in front of them in a form that they'll sit there and watch.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I mean, it goes back to a conversation I was having last night on Troy Hill Talks, which is an awesome show. You guys should go check out his channel, Troy Hill Talks, over on YouTube. But we had a conversation pretty much about how, like, with Black Dynamite and Undercover Brother, there's a lot of messages in both of those films, but they do the comedy aspect of it to make it kind of easier. You see it, you're laughing, but you see it. They're making it funny, but you see it, and it sticks. You know what I mean? Like when you actually watch a movie and break them down, you're like, it really sticks there, and you really see the shit. And then there's certain stuff where no matter depending on where you grow up, I'm not even gonna say what color, depending on where you grow up, you see things, and you're like, yep, I see what's going on here. But again, it was an easier watch seeing that because it's a comedy, it's funny, it was a good time versus, which I get that you see the human faces, but they took the serious out of it. You know what I mean? You put the serious in, but like with this animated film, they take the human faces out of it. So I feel like it almost, even though this movie wasn't funny, the one we watched tonight was not funny, But I feel like it almost kind of just gives, like I said, that more comforting kind of thing when at times you want to touch on social things or whatever the case may be, whatever's going on, but in a way to where it's more digestible, to where either comedy or animated or whatever. That's my opinion on it. But again, what's the truth, Trevor?
What's the real reason?
Well, there's really no reason. There's just a couple things. Well, end of the day, big things are everybody that was available to create what they wanted to create was in the anime field. And also, I think it was a decision very much like Gus Van Sant did with Scanner Darkly, which also starred Keanu Reeves. Just let you know that. But that's an animated film. And there's no reason for it to be animated. So who's making all these decisions? And that's a gentleman named Mamoru Oshii. And Mamoru Oshii wrote the manga that this is based on, which we'll talk about a little bit. But this guy is like hardcore. This is the guy who created Ghost in the Shell. And how this film ended up being made is he wanted it. Okay, so it was from a manga called Caballeros Panza Cop from around 1987. They had already started making films. There were 2 previous films. He wasn't as directly connected. From what I understand, they're okay, but they're really not that wonderful, very typical anime. So he wanted to create a film that he felt would represent what is the first part of that manga series. And that was to literally create a tragic film. So he is given the chance because he is like, okay, guys, Bandai, I give you the rights to Ghost in the Shell, and I'll do this and we'll do that and that. But, and this happens in Hollywood all the time. I mean, look at the Star Wars franchise. Hey, so you've been doing all this stuff for a really, really long time, and you've got all this amazing stuff, and we want that one. We want that one that is the crown jewel and has made the most money. Will you let me write and control the film that I want to make, which is the 3rd film of the Caseros saga, which is this. So this is a movie, but it uses the tools and the aesthetic of anime. So that's what they were doing with it. Very much, as yet again, I keep bringing it up, is Perfect Blue is another example. I think being animated is even more hard-hitting, but it could have been shot live. I mean, it's kind of like anime's equivalent to The Spy Who Came in from the Cold. So there's no real reason outside of the fact that, when Murao Oshii got a chance to write this and oversee this particular project, it was animated because he brought in everybody that he wanted. And this included a director, Okimura, who did an amazing amount of animation for so much, but this is the first film he ever directed. So there are other names connected to the direction, but that also has a lot to do with Oishi being able to have as much control as possible. So that's why it's animated.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I'm very excited to see the remake from Korea. So
Wow.
I enjoyed the art style. To me, it was like watching like a bigger budget G.I. Joe type art style from back in the day, the He-Man G.I. Joe style, but the people looked like they had substance to them. Like it looked like they had flesh and like thickness to their skin and stuff. And the other thing I noticed too is they really got facial features and like they really looked Asian. Like they really looked Japanese. You know what I mean? I was like, holy shit.
Agreed.
It's a film that decided to, in its 3rd installment, go against all the rules of anime. And in 1999, I mean, he made a good enough deal that in 1999, this film was shown on screens for the first time in a small but significant Cannes Marche du Film competition. So yeah, they also knew when it came out. They were like, "Oh, how are we going to market this?" Well, let's throw it at the art house circuit first and see what happens. So,
Huh.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell is political too. I never got into that one. It was too much politics
one?
going. Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Oh yeah, very political. Actually, there's various discussions online and a couple videos that I came across that tries to connect this specific film to eventually Ghost in the Shell, like it being a prequel.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
I need to revisit Ghost in the Shell. It's been a couple decades, but I probably will. You've got me on a bit of an anime kick, Sir Sturdy.
Yeah,
I'm getting my cell phone. When I keep saying I'm gonna start these shows, if I don't start it by the end of this week, it'll definitely be next week. Because I'm just like, these movies are just getting me hooked on. Like, I gotta see this. I gotta see this type of deal.
Yeah,
But
it was all right. It was like, again, I said, the politicalness was, it's needed for what it's wanted. It just felt so just long and drawn out with some of the things. But again, overall decent. Can't complain. I wouldn't watch it again, but I'm not mad that I did watch it.
Yeah.
Especially
Same.
since we're filling, all these new movies that we haven't experienced and all that stuff lately. It's nice. It's good.
And I mean, the dope thing about doing stuff like this is people out there that are watching, say, especially there's some there's some anime fans watching tonight, let's say, or just movie fans in general. It's like, it's a good movie to go check it out. It just wasn't what I was looking for and expecting and kind of wanting at the time. Not a bad movie, and a 5 from me is not bad at all, because you guys know I do the -10 shit. So
Nice.
5 is very good in that aspect of it. I have weird ratings and all that stuff, but I did just make an executive decision just based on the way Trevor was discussing this movie. So we're gonna be reviewing this film next Thursday.
Yes,
Because I'm like, you know what, my guy Trevor, he's talking about this movie. He's bringing this movie up, and the way he's discussing it, it's for a reason. He doesn't just do this shit. He doesn't waste his breath. Like when Trevor speaks, he speaks. So I'm just like, this is one of those that we're gonna check it out. We're gonna check it out.
That's awesome.
And I'm gonna give you guys a heads up right now. So after next Thursday, I'm off. Me and the wife are doing a little staycation. We're getting a room, just getting away from the house and the kids and shit. So there will not be a live show that Thursday, but I'm saying this now, and I'll talk to the guys behind the scenes as well, but I'm going to try to get out at least 1, maybe 2 pre-recorded things of some animated stuff for you guys, if possible. I'm going to talk to these gentlemen behind the scenes and kind of see, how everybody's schedule is and all that good stuff. But, yeah, so be on the lookout for that. So if you see some Horror Research 30 stuff in 2 weeks, that's live. It is pre-recorded. I'm just dropping it that week so you guys can see it. So if you guys comment, we're not responding. You can cuss us out if you want, but we're not going to respond to it because we're not really there. But just letting you know.
Yeah.
And
the whole art design. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was it. I was just going to say for the whole Perfect Blue thing. So yeah, so we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks, and I'm excited.
For everybody out there, like the art design for the soldiers and stuff like that, it gives you this very Resistance, the game from like the PS3 days, and like Kill Switch vibe. And it's these beady red eyes, and they just hunt you, and they just don't stop coming. They're just armored up, and they have these huge fucking Gatling gun type machine gun things. It's really cool. So if you guys like some of that different world took over mad drama, now it's
dystopian
dystopian vibe is being run by a hierarchy, a regime, or whatever you want to call it, and there's that resistance. This will definitely be something that tickles your fancy, especially if you enjoyed those games like I said, Kill Switch or Resistance.
And also the part where you see him, because he's trained to be
You're back.
a wolf, like just attack, no humanity at all. But you see him breaking down and getting that humanity back a little bit.
Yeah, it's Beauty and the Beast, but who is the Beast and who is Beauty?
Exactly.
And at what time are each? Yeah. So, and yet again, there's another very overt fairy tale reference.
Now, obviously, that's the biggest thing at the end there. You know, she's in his arms. I don't want to give too much away, but
No, you go
the
ahead and
girl,
spoil.
like the girl, like they discussed earlier, who the I guess he's the protagonist in this movie, which is weird because he could also be the antagonist, but he's embracing the young girl that he thought was the sister to the child that he killed at the beginning of the movie, and she goes off saying, you know, the bears, the what is it? The wolves. Oh yeah, if he he's gonna huff and puff and blow your house down type deal. And then there's a gunshot, and she's just still, and she goes down. My question to you is: did the gunshot come from him because he had his gun up to her, or was it the other dude that was over on the side in the bunker, or was he just there in case?
I think it was him because I didn't see.
I didn't see smoke coming off his gun.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I did.
I don't remember seeing it come off his gun.
No, I didn't either.
And he says good, and I think that's a reference to what is said. There's a little bit at the end, but it's not really that important. Is that, you know, he is a beast. He is a wolf. He is now completely, as they feel, potentially under their control, which is never really, you know. But it's also weird in the fact that the young lady that he has become so close to and feels that he can in certain ways find redemption through befriending, if not falling in love with her, what is supposed to be her sister, ends up actually being a resistance fighter, and she has been arrested, and she has been basically given a deal because, you know, what could bring the government down more than anything, especially when the first thing that's going to go is when the government combines, is this special soldier unit. So she's actually working to get him killed. But still at the end, there's this bond. And that's what makes it even more tragic. It is a hopeless bond. And it's how low will people go to survive, or, you know, how low will people throw people under the bus until they figure out, wow, I actually liked this person, or this person, there was humanity there, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing that made this really, really wild, because toward the end, when it comes in to the fact that there is a military-esque coup to make sure that this special secret police aren't really secret, they're going to be out there doing martial law, exist. And they'll do slimy things like use somebody who is a resistance fighter. They will do slimy things like one of your best friends who is with you at all times and advising you is actually behind everything. This is another thing that, and I mentioned the spy who came in from the cold, the layers of just espionage and lies, and, you know, anybody could be the wolf. But what I mean, there's the whole thing about, you know, and this is not Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood does not, you know, we don't think of it as like, you know, eats the mother's flesh, and then a cat, which is representative, in my opinion, of the, you know, almost like the Lucifer concept. They're going, hey, think about this. Like, you're killing your kid for this. Think about this. So the cat is basically doing this in a way to warning, like, hey, this isn't right. And she goes through with it. And I think that had an amazing amount of meaning when it came to her supposed sister, because that's exactly what she ends up doing. Eating, you know, her own people, metaphorically, eating her own political ideology, metaphorically. It is a complicated film. And I would say that it's probably, without looking at a list, I would say it's one of the most important films of 2000, which that's when it was released in Japan. I feel that strongly about this one.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot, because that's a wow.
Yeah, this film tickled my brain quite a bit. It was very nice.
Yeah, it's a great play on perception, right? And perspective, because
Yep.
no matter which side you're on, you're right to you. You know what I mean? And I always throw this as the analogy. Hitler thought he was right. Hitler thought he got saved in World War One in a bunker and a gun jammed so that he can go on and do this, what he was doing, because he thought it was God's plan and it was his divine duty. So is he wrong or are we wrong? You know what I mean? It depends on where you're looking through the glass. Obviously, we know he's wrong. We know he was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we know he was wrong, but I'm just saying.
I know.
Wow, we got there.
It's an example. It's an example.
I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm
no,
just saying.
No, in no way. You know, I think we've all done a pretty good job of not flat out saying that this is a very, very important dystopian film in the genre of anime that will play both a very serious film and also an anime for anime fans that is basically a warning, very much like Orwell or Aldous Huxley, that what we are witnessing currently in 2025, we've been warned continually.
Shit.
But all I'm saying is that.
Yep, we just me and my lady just had that conversation. She asked me yesterday, just random. She was like, "Wait, are there really like robots walking around in places?" Like I was like, "Yeah, Japan uses them in hospitals to swaddle babies. People can rent them to keep them company. Like there's all these different things." And she was like, I looked at her and I was like, "You want to watch Terminator?" And she was like, "Nope." Nope. I was like, "See, this is what I'm saying. 1980s, whatever it was, they just started showing us what was, and that's how I feel like it goes. It's not a matter of, oh, this is a hypothetical. It's a matter of, we just need you to understand eventually this is where things are gonna go. You know what I mean?
Wolves feed.
The they.
They take whatever they want. Wolves will attack themselves. They will attack their own young for supremacy. When you have multiple people in power who are wolves and a person who is a grand wolf that could very easily be taken down from within, this film has a lot of meaning in 2025, and especially for the United States government. Martial law is not far from the beginning of that film. Now that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to, but I just have to put it out there. That's another reason why this film is important.
Oh yeah, this film, and again, I feel like, again, going with the politics, because a lot of it, you know, with certain things, it feels like it's hitting home now. So it's like, I just don't. I want to be entertained. Not that I wasn't with this movie, but I want to be entertained in other ways with movies. You know, I want to see some cool anime shit, people getting cut up and all that.
Well, you know, you bring that up. It's very interesting because, you know, when you get to the end of this film and you discover that the protagonist is actually a wolf, and you discover that the young girl who's the sister was actually a wolf, and everybody who they work for are wolves, it's we're in a wolf den right now. And that is, I mean, you just see it. It's, you know, the world that, you know, Oshii created with this is a world that unfortunately I think we've lived with for much longer than we want to admit. And that is the almighty dollar is the true wolf. And that true wolf will bite anybody in the ass rich, poor, or whatever. But
You
the
are.
wolves keep their friends and their group
Their pack, yep.
close
Yep.
until the wolves go, and then you have military coup.
Mm-hmm.
That is, yeah. That
What's
is
happening, Track Crash?
But also, it's like, you know, at that very end where you figure out that everybody is a wolf.
Yep.
It's kind of like that feeling that you got the day after the election, where you suddenly went, how many racists are there fucking around here? I mean, it's that same, like, did my neighbor vote for this?
I mean, it's easy when you don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sure they wouldn't mind that either.
But yeah, and yeah, agreed, Teen Snobs. Yeah, like when you recognize things, I'm like, okay, this movie's not that fun anymore because now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it even more of a tragedy as far as a film. And that's what's really cool about it is you're looking at 2000 and you can, you know, all the shit about 2000, all the shit about Hong Kong pre-alternative history, but it is timeless. It doesn't make a difference because you could set that in feudal Japan and will have the same impact and same meaning that film should have today. So
No, this was it was a really good film, just not my type with the political stuff. But it was a really good movie. I honestly do highly recommend it. I really do. And this is one of those ones where you can get a really, really good deep dive, especially if this is your type of film. You know what I mean? Then you could really dive deep into it because the story is good. Again, it's just not my type of story, but it is a good movie. It is a really good movie at that. Like I have to admit, yeah, you know what I mean? I can't say it's a bad movie or the movie sucks. It just wasn't for my taste, really.
I could imagine the debates political science majors would get into one drunken night over this. Oh my God.
Oh man. Which would probably be some fun conversations to like sit in and listen to. Because it's like, okay, they're talking about, it's like the animated stuff, they're talking about the political stuff, they're animated, and you know they're gonna be jumping all around because it's drunk too. So yeah, I'm there for that conversation. Well,
yeah, like anime, don't get me wrong, but a lot of animes, basically anything, TV shows, live action, it don't matter. There's always a pinch, like the final season, there's always a little pinch of some type of political thing mixed in. This one just took it 100% that direction. Like it wasn't. That is their main goal. They're like, yo, we're making this a political movie.
Oh yeah,
and we're not trying to hide it. We're not sprinkling a little thing here, but it's I like Aaron and like everybody else. It's a good movie. Just like I said, it was overpowered with that's why I don't like Hunger Games. Too political.
Fair.
Even though people love Star Wars,
we need to do Battle Royale.
Star Wars has fight scenes.
Yeah. I get what you mean with that, James. I see what you mean.
A little sturdy.
Yeah, I'm working on it. There we go. Boom.
He's moving around.
Jumping around and shit. Can't stay still. But that is true though, James. Like it's something that kind of just, I don't want to say it takes me out of the story with the politics. It just drops my interest a little bit. And then especially again when you have a bunch of crazy political shit going on and a bunch of, not only say just political, because it's just a bunch of bad humanity shit and all that shit that's going on. It's like, yeah, I want to see people getting their heads cut off in these movies. I don't want to see for other reasons.
Yeah, that's great humanity.
Or chasing but I'm saying, or chasing a monster. I'm talking about. I want to escape. Like here's what I was looking at, expecting and hoping for: an escape from reality with this. That's what it mainly is. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying with all the craziness with the horror stuff that I enjoy with it, because it's escape from reality. There's not really yeah.
That's one of the frustrating things about this current time. Like it seems like it's super hard to find this little balance of having some realism, but not making the entire thing super like realistic in it all. Like again, like Sturdy said, I don't want to be, looking at headlines or going through my day catching things that you're picking up on that's actually happening, and then all of a sudden you go and you watch something and now you're even further like,
Yeah.
God damn it. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, it's just compounding. It's everywhere. This shit's inevitable. Like,
and it's
For
not,
me,
it's not always
opposite dystopian and things like that. It, even though it reminds you sometimes of really scary reality,
yeah,
it sometimes is almost like it's relieving to see that there is something out there to remind us that. And I also like weird shit, so I'm gonna put that out there.
Oh, we
yeah,
listen.
it's a catch-22 because unless we actually see it and think about it, because that's what these usually do, right? You watch a movie, it stops you in your tracks, you're paying attention to the context of the movie and everything going on and developments in it, and then you're out of it again and you're back into your real world. But while you're in there, you're just like, damn, what if this was me, if or God, so it's cool that it does that, and we need that because we get so distracted by the day to day and just running about. We got to do this. We got to get this done for our boss. Our wife needs this. Our kids need this. I got to do this. My haircut needs to be done. I got to cut the lawn. That if you don't have some of these things thrown at you, you kind of will forget and then forget about it. Then you're really just sucked into it. Then you're it's like, you're blindsided by it all when the shit is real. You know what I mean?
Well, the film does actually show that as she starts telling the middle part of the adjusted Red Riding Hood story, you see this montage of Tokyo at this like 50-ish, 1950-ish alternative reality, and you see the complacency on everybody. It's like, well, everything's fine, everything's good, and then you occasionally see like two people sitting in a corner that are definitely homeless, and it actually does. I mean, this is the thing. I can see where this is not enjoyable if you're expecting the confines of the genre of anime. But this film successfully does something that a lot of movies do, which is not just, they do a lot of genre bending. So you've got the spy political thriller mixed with anime, which is also different because you're looking at two mechanically different genres. So it really is, I mean, it's pretty ballsy, in my opinion, to make a film like this. Especially, I mean, Oishi was basically like, here's my present to you. Let me do what I want. And luckily it worked, because this is also the kind of movie that at the time, if it came out and it flopped, you're never seen again.
Yeah. Now, you said this came out in the 2000s, early 2000s?
Its official release was 99 because it had a showing in Cannes, but somewhere between 2000 2001 was Japan and the United States.
So when was it actually created?
I think it was shot in like 98, or was filmed and put together in 98. I was going to say,
it seems it was early to mid 90s at the latest, like between 90 and 95 to me. That's why I was like, it kind of feels like the old school. I imagine
it was probably the 1999 one was probably like a test print of it or something. So.
Okay. I can see that. But that's the other thing too, right? It's like, okay, this movie was so old at that point. You know what I mean? We're talking a movie that's 10 years old, done and everything. What took so long for them to release it? Did they just say, you know what, this is a good time now, let's use this? You know what I mean?
No, I mean, it's only 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
So it really,
again, my assumption was early 90s.
It is. I mean, I don't really know. I didn't look into it, but it is. It's so genre bending. If you're a spy drama human interest person, there are so many things to love about it. But if you don't like animation, there's so much to hate about it, and then vice versa.
Right.
And that's really daring. It's like, let's alienate everybody. And I like things like that, actually. So, but
Oh yeah, because there's, I mean, at the end of the day, with this type of film, there's always gonna be people that really love it, really enjoy it, and then there's gonna be some that are just like, it's not a bad movie, but just kind of how our takes, all of our takes on it, and then of course you have the more extremes, or there's some people that may say they don't like it at all or whatever. But you gotta admit, at the very least, it's a good movie. Gotta admit that, no matter how you feel about it.
Do you think you can take these movies as a bit of like satire? Do you take them more as a bit of like, damn, if only we would have won the war type deal? You know what I mean?
Well, this is definitely a flat out tragedy.
Yeah.
There's no humor in this one at all. But I mean, you look at Ghost in the Shell and things like that. Akira, there is a political undercurrent to all those films, but they do it in a way that delivers the goods for the genre. This one is like, we're going to do it how we want it. Yeah, I mean, you could put live actors and everything for itself, but no, we're going to, so yeah, it's just, I think it's really cool. And Sturdy, thank you for, doing this, because I've never been a big anime fan, but it's been interesting looking back. I forgot how much I actually watched. And it's been really nice to stumble upon things like this that really make me appreciate the genre that much more.
Now, my next question to you is: are you going to is it going to make you take a little deep dive in it, like kind of mess around with it a little bit? Or?
Well, it's made me interested in the idea of what is out there in the world of cinematic anime that goes against the grain. I mean, of course, there's Studio Ghibli, which is just that amazingness and pushing the boundaries of anime all the time. But trust me, with the success of this, and we're going to talk about Perfect Blue,
Yes,
there's got to be a lot out there that we just don't have access to, that is probably getting looked over because the most of the large anime outlets are looking to make fast money on the series and the big names and stuff like that. But I'm sure there's a lot out there we haven't seen, and that gives me a reason to go deep diving.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I can't wait for you to, well, guys, listen, you guys have to check this movie out, because I know it's going to be something wild, and I'm excited for that, because I know he's going to do this. He's going to find it, drop it in the group chat. Guy, look, go watch this fucking movie now. I don't care what you're doing. It's one of those. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. But shit, man. This is a Perfect Blue I'm really looking forward to, because I've heard you talk about it a lot, not really deep dive into it, but I've heard you talk about it a lot. And then I can't remember what game I was playing or what I was doing, but I like to, for like in my description, I like to put whether I'm gaming or podding, I like to have like the region, like where the movie was made, their favorite type, their favorite films, their favorite type of horror film there, and their favorite foods, this, that, and the third. And that I seen Perfect Blue a lot. So I'm like, between that and you talking about it, I'm like, okay, I have to check this shit out. I have to check this shit out. So I was like, you know what? Got to make the decision. Sorry, Wheel, but I'm just gonna throw this shit on here next week. So we're definitely talking about that movie next week. And there's 2 movies on the wheel that, if we can, like I said, with the pre-record thing, we'll hit those up, which I'll show you guys after the show's over. But shit, man, this is a fun ride. This is a fun ride so far, and I can't wait to see where this goes. And we're getting into some blaxploitation for June. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be real interesting.
I'm gonna put in my vote whenever you want, if you want to vote for me.
I got something.
It is the coolest of the Pam Grier films, in my opinion.
Ooh, we'll talk.
Sugar Hill.
I believe that's on there. I believe that's on the list or the wheel.
Awesome.
I believe that's on the wheel, but yes, I can almost guarantee it is. I can almost guarantee it is. I got to look it up and stuff and throw it together, but I have a list to throw on there. But so that'll be that. And then, as you guys know, after the blaxploitation, summer, back to backpacking with Search 30, where we're just watching all foreign horror films, and I am super excited for that because it's one of those things. The reason why I'm doing these the way I've been doing them lately is because I feel, well, one, I want to see more of that genre. Like I want to see more black horror films, and then on as far as foreign films, I love seeing foreign films, especially the horror genre. Oh my goodness, it's just mind blown craziness. And then after that, it's Thirdo Vision. So it all comes up so freaking fast. Which Thirdo Vision is just a mixed bag of whatever the fuck we feel like throwing on the wheel or whatever our theme is we got going on. Which we'll think of something. I'm
You
thinking of
should do
something.
a Rudy Ray Moore film during your Blaxploitation June for Thirdo Vision, like Dolomite.
Ooh, we just did that last week on Popcorn and Pints, by the way.
He has human volcano, a human tornado. Oh, there are so many of them. They're all wonderfully horrible in a great way.
I love that when it's one of those ones that you're just like, this movie is so
Petey
bad.
Weestraw, he plays the devil. That's a pretty banging one.
Nice. Look at this. See, we're gonna have some fun over here. We're gonna have some more fun over here, people, and just tell your friends and family that love horror to come check out Horror Research 30 because you're gonna have a great time here. I can guarantee you that. You got podcasting, gaming, a bunch of other random shit going on here all the time, and we'll be stepping it up. Trying to figure some things out and stepping it up with the content. So yeah, definitely like, share, subscribe, and all that great stuff.
Yes, sir.
Clement,
Sister Trevor talked about Calamity of Snakes that know how to do martial arts. Nice.
Oh, Calamity of Snakes is freaking awesome.
That's something I gotta see.
Oh, there's
Snakes
so
doing
many.
martial arts is something I need to see.
Well, it is. Snakes kind of used in martial arts.
Listen, that works too.
Yeah.
I've seen, what was it, New York Ninja, where the dude was fighting on roller skates.
Mm.
If I ever became a ninja,
that was the one that was finished after the fact. I think, that was supposed to really be bad, but in a good way.
It was fun.
I think it would be interesting with a backpacking, as we've talked about Asia, because there are so many, but just looking at a handful of Shaw Brothers horror films, because they are some loony as shit films.
Oh, we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk, because I'll see how many days and weeks there are and kind of go by how we go, or each pick X amount and go from there. But it's going to be a great time, and I hope you're all there. Just join the ride. Again, like, share, subscribe, and all that wonderful stuff. Make sure you guys go check out Worst Damn Gamer Evr. He's been pumping out a lot of content lately. His hair is growing back. So I guess it is real. It's not a wig. I'll stop with the rumors.
It's not spray on hair. So.
But yes, go check out his content. He does a lot of shit. He'll tell you better than I can, but he does a lot of shit from Thursdays to, what'd you say, Tuesdays?
Thursdays through Mondays.
Awesome.
There you go. So check him out. And of course, you're gonna see James again Saturday on Popcorn and Pints at 9:00 Eastern time. He's been behaving pretty well lately, and I'm proud of him. I'm very proud of him.
Boy.
He found the right milligrams.
Yeah. Pre-show is a different story, but that's where we need to get it out of the, to get the crazies out. And then of course, Professor T, Trevor, Ambassador Media. Be there and get educated. Have a great time.
I need to start actually doing new stuff, which I'm not too great at the moment, so I apologize. But there's old stuff to check out.
There's a lot of stuff to check out over there, and you need to be checking it out. But I mean, you get to enjoy him here every Thursday at 8:00 Eastern time. And he's always coming with some knowledgeable stuff. Tune in for it. And some wild shit, which oh my God, that's what I wait for. Like, I love the education part, but when he's like, yo, listen, I watched this movie last night where a camel ate a turkey, and I'm just throwing that out there, but it's always some wild, crazy shit that we enjoy and we love. And we're gonna be diving into some wild shit soon too. Just be on the lookout for that, people. Maybe for Christmas, we'll just do all crazy shit. Christmas with Trevor is what we'll call it.
Blood free for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
yeah. But before Thanksgiving and all that stuff, there was a wonderful Yet horrible film out of Florida that was funded by a church called Blood Freak, which was about a junkie who gets better and then starts to work for this Bible thumper's father's turkey farm, and they're doing weird testing on the turkey. So they get him to eat the turkey, and then he becomes a turkey monster, and he lives off blood and sex.
I would watch that.
Gobble
So that,
gobble.
yeah, that's my favorite Thanksgiving horror film.
I would watch that.
Damn.
Blood Freak.
Blood Freak. There you go. Oh, there you go.
You doing Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah. So I didn't review it last year. So what I'm gonna do is a watch party for it.
Okay.
And then shoot shit about it. But no, I'm not reviewing it this year. Unless I do short, I may start doing shorts of it every year. That's what I'll probably do. Watch parties and shorts for it. But if you have never seen Thanksgiving 1 and 2, or sorry, 1 and 3, because there is no 2, they're searching for 2 and 3. You need to watch those films. The week of Thanksgiving, the holiday celebration. Just saying. But we're gonna wrap this one up, people. I hope you guys have a great night. Again, like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. Hit that bell too, and check these gentlemen out. Their links are in the description. Check these gentlemen out. They do some awesome things, or they have some awesome shit up there. Either way. With that said, have a great night. I'll see you in your night.